Chase Sexton, Seattle, man, main event was chaos. Like, what's it like living an event like that, man?
Honestly, when I was out there riding, this race is just mental because there was so much stuff going on. And then coming down to the end, I was really close, and it was a close finish between Cooper and I. So, yeah, it was an exciting race. I was pretty calm the whole time. I had 2 stalls, but other than that, I was really comfortable on the track. I had fun riding, which was good. And then, I feel like today was another step in the right direction. Last week was better, but this week was even more in the right direction. So looking forward to St. Louis.
Specifically with the stall before the mechanics area, it seemed like you never went back to that inside rut. Was that conscious because of the stall, or?
The stall was actually because I stalled in that rhythm when I jumped into the tough block, and it bent my rear brake out. So then I caught my rear brake in that rut, and that's why I stalled it. So it was not why I didn't go there, but it was kind of like I didn't want to drag that and stall it again. So
yeah. I think they asked you about the wall, but you never ended up doing it.
Never saw it.
Yeah, never saw it. So.
It might have been in second. It was actually, I felt like for me, easier to ride in second tonight. Like when I got behind Cooper, it was actually easier for me to race because you see what is better and what's worse. And also I found lines from lappers that I would have never tried because I saw them taking different lines and it was actually better. So there was a lot to learn tonight from everybody, and that was kind of, I shouldn't say riding a second was better, but it was easier to kind of gauge where you're at.
Dude, you were clearly the fastest guy in the main event. If mistakes aside, I think it was your night, but just take me through how chaotic that one was.
Yeah, no, speed wasn't a problem this weekend. I think the biggest thing was just who had the least amount of mistakes, and obviously Cooper had that. He didn't have as many mistakes as kind of Chase and I did, and I'm coming out with a win. It's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Lost some points, but we'll come back in the next race.
I feel like after the crash, you were gaining momentum, you were kind of catching those guys, then you had a mistake on the wall, then you got stuck on the wall behind someone. Was that kind of the catalyst and why it didn't work out, catching them?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I just took him as signs. Well, obviously this ain't my weekend. I definitely, there's enough signs for me. All right, we ain't going to win tonight, so let's just go in with third. So it was, I think, a good sign just to kind of back down. All right, we'll just take third tonight.
Your starts have been pretty solid, I feel like, the last couple weeks, but this one wasn't there tonight. Anything you could point at?
I think just maybe a little happy on the throttle or something. Just end up spinning. It's a shame, but luckily my first turns have been pretty good at kind of navigating through and that stuff. So yeah.
Almost P3, kind of reeled Jett in at the end, and I think if you had a start, maybe you would have been right with those guys the whole race, huh?
Yeah, I think so. At one point, a couple laps, I was catching both Coop and Jett, or Coop and Chase, and me and Jett were on the move, but. Yeah, a few bad laps, a few bad lappers, and that kind of shuffled me back. And then, I started clicking them off at the end and just came up short, man. I was like, I don't even know if it was a second. And, it feels good to get back here and ride like that this weekend. And I don't know, it's been a tough couple of weeks, and it sucks that, we're this far down in the points now, but oh well, it's all good. I can always rebound and ride good on the weekend, and it feel pretty good.
It seemed like the 2 keys in the 450 main at least were jumping the wall and then doing the 3 onto the table, 3 off over the big one. Did you jump the wall, and then the second one, did you consistently get that 3 table thing?
No, I jumped the wall, but that 3 over the, it was intimidating in the heat race, and I did it then, but man, it got pretty gnarly in the main. So now I played it safe on that thing, and just kind of I did the 2-3, 2-3-1, and that was pretty consistent for me. So just stuck to that, and it was a decent ride, but as much as I wanted it to be a podium, it was the best ride that I've had in a couple weeks.
Well, let's go back to the heat race, because start was good, and then you just kind of hung out with those guys for a super long time, so that was good.
Yeah, start was awesome in the heat race. Halfway down the straight, I'm like not really sure where the guys on the inside are going to be because it was lined up on the outside, and we beat them to the corner. I was like so stoked on that, and then I actually stayed up there like you said for a bit. Felt awesome. It was really good to ride up there. Makes it 40 times easier when you start up front. Was hoping for that in the main. Had the exact opposite. I spun as soon as I hit the plastic on the gates, and then my whole shot device got stuck down. So I was dead last, and I came all the way to 12th. I honestly have not rode that good, like for a whole 20 minutes in a main event in multiple years. So, I mean, I'm so stoked on the day, the night as a whole. Couldn't be happier, really. I think I was 12th overall, so really, really happy with that. So, yeah.
Was it the track today, or was it just something clicked with the bike again, or what did you feel was?
I think we're making a lot of progress with the bike every week.
Yeah.
We changed some stuff that has made a pretty good power difference about 2 weeks ago. So that's helped like with starts and stuff, as well as suspension changes. Just keep making changes, and like we're progress every weekend, which is awesome. We started out the season rough, kind of like we had expected.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pumped with how the bike's working. Yeah.
Just take me through your day, man, because this track was gnarly, right?
Yeah, we didn't have free practice today, which, I mean, honestly, I think we got out really well with the weather. It was overcast all day. The track, some of it was just like Indy last week. I mean, the rhythm sections that they prepped, dude, you could feel it just like sucking your bike in, even when it like first lap. So it's definitely really tricky. But yeah, I mean, it was overall a decent day. The track in practice was really technical. We had, I guess, maybe two to three lines in all the corners, and they just got super deep and super choppy, because if you got outside of those ruts, it was just like riding on ice. So I think we got out really good with the weather. The track conditions here, again, this year were super gnarly. Last year, I think the whole team really struggled last year. This year, I think we all did quite a bit better. Results maybe not so well, but yeah, it was just overall a tough track and a tough race day. But small victories for me. Just my starts were really consistent tonight, which is what I've been working on, trying to figure those out. My bike is getting a lot better. We have some changes to make this week that I'm really excited about, that are going to help me when the track gets as rough as it did tonight. So yeah, overall, it's I'm healthy. I'm still pushing forward, and I'm excited to race in St. Louis.
19th, I think, for you in the end of the day. But yeah, what did you think overall? Because this track seemed like it got pretty gnarly.
It got really gnarly. I got really uncomfortable in the main. I got down to that like hard base, and it's like chattery, and it feels like your bars are gonna get ripped out of your hand. I just got arm pump like unbelievable in the main, where like all day I felt so comfy. My heat race, like I felt like I was ripping, came from like 15th to 9th. Like that's really good on a day like today. Like I felt like in the heat I should have passed Shane and gotten 8th, and so it was unfortunate. I got clobbered on the first lap of the main. A guy like thought he could just cut across the track and go inside before the whoops, and I was in the air, so I got ripped off my motorcycle. But yeah, I just, after that, I never like found my groove in the main, and it sucked, and I got lapped early, and just put me behind the 8 ball. So the main obviously didn't go well, but yeah, it feels good to be going fast again, and getting off the gate halfway decent. So we're out there.
Yeah, obviously 2 main events in a row now for you. So what do you feel has been kind of the biggest turnaround in the last month or so?
Just avoiding the chaos a little bit, getting out of some bad luck. To be honest, man, like, I made a couple poor decisions in LCQs, but like I had some like terrible luck in some of those things, man. Just like putting myself in bad positions, and then like something happens, and when other people have bad luck, like I just wasn't there to capitalize on it. So yeah, you know, I just got to be better all the time and make less mistakes, and also just be better at, when I do make a mistake, rebounding more quickly, and getting off the gate maybe in the top 15 and not 21st.
I know you said you got lapped kind of early. It threw you out of your groove a little bit. Given what happened last week, did you feel like you were playing a little bit more safe with them? Or?
Oh, I for sure was,
okay.
Especially the top 3 guys. This track was actually a little bit easier to let them by on. It felt like the track was really wide. I don't know if like it felt that way because there's so many ruts, right? Yeah. You can just like hug the barrels and feel okay. But I definitely don't want to be in their way. I don't ever want to be in their way, but more now, obviously. So, yeah, I tried to play it safe, especially when I'm by myself, right?
Yeah.
Like, Brees and I battled for a little bit right after I got lapped the first time. So we were duking it out, and some good dudes were like trying to get by us, and I think we were both being pretty respectful of them. Mm-hmm. So I have a bad habit though of slowing down too much when I get lapped. Not just like getting out of the way, but also getting out of the way and like hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
So I have to be better about that, of like continuing to race in a slower line while trying to let those guys by.
I feel like we talked about it before the race. You just needed a start and you didn't get one again, but speed was there, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, speed's definitely there. It's been nice to have some of the guys back at club. It's definitely nice to have Phil and Jeremy and especially Jason. Jason's definitely been pushing me pretty hard, and I definitely feel like I built that extra little oomph I needed on the bike, and especially in my motos. But man, I don't know what to do with starts. We practiced a lot these last 2 weeks, and I thought I figured something out, but we keep dealing with a rear wheel spinning issue on the grate, or not on the grate, on the plastic here at the races. So we really got to sit down this week, figure it out, because I can't keep starting outside the top 10 then sprinting my butt off all the way into the top 5. So we're super close to a top 3 again. We were so close the last 2 laps, just got hung up with some lappers, and we actually had a guy run across the track right in front of me, and I about clipped his head off the triple rhythm, so that kind of scared me there. So yeah, it is what it is, but happy to take it fourth.
With Joe coming at you late there, did you know he was coming, and how did you try to defend him coming?
I just told myself do my laps and do what I usually do at test track or the practice track. And, I feel like I was hitting my marks. I was riding really well. Like I said, I felt like every time I was coming up on someone I was lapping, the blue flag they wouldn't wave the flag until literally they were like right next to him.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't even think those guys were really seeing the blue flag. And I was having to panic rev the living crap out of my bike, and the guys were like, oh, all right, like we'll move. But yeah, I feel like I was kind of the guy in between that was kind of getting hit with it really hard. And it really caused me to roll the one big rhythm after the first turn and the second one. So Joe caught me a ton right there. He got me in the whoops, and I was really trying to pressure him in the last couple laps, mainly the last lap. And yeah, I don't know who it was, 35 on the KTM, can't think of his name. But yeah, we about came together off the finish line, another lapper. And I was like, well, there goes my race. Like, Shimoda was able to get away, and yeah, it is what it is. Lappers suck at times, but it's racing.
First of all, just take me through this track. I think everyone said it was super gnarly and chaotic, and how did you take it, I guess, tonight?
Yeah, the track was definitely brutal. I think it's probably the gnarliest track I've ever ridden. So I struggled a lot this morning qualifying. I struggled just bike setup, obviously training in SoCal. It's hard to get a bike set up for a rough, ruddy track like tonight. So I think that was a big thing, but I got it figured out by the main event. And I had a good race going in the beginning of that main event. And then, I don't know, I just lost my flow in the middle of that main event. I made a couple mistakes, started overriding a little bit. And then I think with 3 minutes left, I got a good flow going again and calmed down and rode a little bit more like myself. So, I think I took a lot of positives from the end of that main event, and I'll be good for St. Louis.
Half of your pro supercrosses so far have been kind of like this, like rain a bunch, and then we don't know what the track exactly is going to be like. So have you kind of like mentally been able to change each week that you come into this, knowing like, all right, now I know what it's going to look like because I've already done this twice before? Yeah, for sure. I think my mindset with the other 2 mud races wasn't that good. I was just, obviously I'm not the best mud rider. So I struggled a little bit just believing in myself in the mud. And tonight I tried to come in just with just go race. Yeah. Don't put any pressure on yourself. And I think that's something I've been doing a lot, is putting pressure on myself. So I just tried to let everything come to me. Don't force what's not there. So letting it come to me and trying to learn each lap. Start was good. Is that where we end the conversation, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of lost my shit with Lewis too. Yeah, just a shitty day. Starts were really good, locked in. Everything was money, and then I got my ass kicked. I sucked. I couldn't lock in on the rhythms. I rode tight, rode scared. Also known as a bitch. So that's where we are. Compared to the perfect practice start that you described earlier today, what is the main event start rank for you? Pretty much picture perfect. Like it was money. If I was maybe 5 gates left, I would have had the start. Same with the heat race, but I went to the same gate in the main as I did in the heat race because it still looked really good. traction on the rut still looked really good, so I'm like, I still can pull this out. So I went there, and everything was good. My first 5 laps were good, and then where they fixed the track kind of went away. I didn't adjust to it, and I fucking crumbled. So.
We kind of look at you as like New York guys, so maybe these conditions would suit you normally. Does it normally feel like that, and this is just an off night, or what?
I think it's just an off night. Like normally I do okay in this stuff. I can pick myself around okay, but I was basically rolling through the whoops. I could barely jump through the rhythms and the triples. Like I had a mental block out there. So I'm really bummed that my adjustments didn't really work out very good. Like my adjustments. So here we are, P11. Sucked.
What adjustments did you do throughout the day? Just bike setup stuff?
Yeah, we changed some clutch perch stuff, changed some suspension stuff, and not major stuff, just some clicks here and there, try and bring some comfort, which I didn't really feel all that bad in practice, but come the main events, and I rode like a puss.
Just kind of take me through your main event, because it looked like you guys were all kind of mixed in a battle again, just like that 8 to 12 position, always kind of fighting each other.
Yeah, I spun off the gate pretty bad in the off the start. Like I had a good jump, and once I hit the plastic on the gate, I just lit up and got kind of screwed right there. I think I was came out like 14th down the first rhythm, which wasn't too bad, and then the second rhythm I cross-rutted and jumped into the tough walk, went way back to like 18th or something, and then, man, it just messed me up, and the first like 6 minutes, dude, I could not ride. And then finally I kind of found a little flow and started finding some better lines, jumping stuff, and ended up coming back to P12, which honestly overall, like for how my main event started, like I was pretty stoked on 12th tonight. And man, I can tell you I've never ridden a track that gnarly in my life. Like I felt like such a beginner the first half of the main, but I'm glad I could turn it around.
Yeah, the track all day, it seemed like it obviously kind of started off really wet and muddy, and then by the end it was just the moon dirt we have in Seattle. But how hard was that to adapt to the changes throughout the day?
Well, honestly, first time session, the first practice, it wasn't that bad. I only did 3 laps and my bike ended up breaking, and I actually helped my mechanic in between the first and second session swap an engine with them. And then, so I really only got to do the second practice, and the second practice was way gnarlier than the first one, in my opinion. And yeah, I had to adapt to the track pretty quick. So I only got a couple laps in the second session to learn the track and put a good time in, because after the first session, I wasn't even in the top 40. Like I never even got a lap. But yeah, like I have like even from last year to this year, this track, like last year's track was nowhere near as gnarly as this, and caught me off guard, that's for sure. But hey, we survived. We're healthy. And we're moving on, so I was happy with it.
Obviously, you came in a little bit banged up. If you want to just kind of highlight a little bit of that.
Yeah, I had a little practice crash the other day, and just got some damage on the scar tissue and my ribs right here. So, kind of got the lat and in between all the soft tissue, I guess, not the scar tissue. So, that's been bothering me for since Tuesday, and today it got progressively worse, unfortunately. So. That was manageable, though. The big one was the knee. I hyperextended it in the second qualifying, and I iced it and got it ready to go for the night show. And then, unfortunately, I slid out in the heat race a little bit, and I dabbed it again and popped again. So, not really sure. It's fine. It doesn't need surgery or anything. Just, bummer deal the way it happened. I was riding really good. I was in 4th, and I was matching the guy in front of me in 3rd. So 3rd in the heat race, I can't complain about that ever. But unfortunately, after I dabbed my leg, I had to go back to 8th. That was really all I could do. So rode around 2 laps on the track, 3 laps with 1 foot on the peg, which is not easy to do. So just a rough night overall. Bad start in the main event, and then I don't know what Jordan Smith was doing, but he cleaned me out after he went down. I think he panicked, and we've seen it his whole career. He's known to panic and freak out. So he took me out, and then he went down a lap later, yard sailed again, and pulled on the track in front of me. So it's not like I was, racing for a podium or anything, but it still does suck when you get put in the dirt for no reason and then, almost go down again for no reason. So overall, a rough night, but it's not easy, If it was easy, everyone would do it, and unfortunately, in the sport, you don't progress unless you have bad nights. So take this one on the chin, and throw it in the trash and move on to next weekend. I'm not too worried about it.
How much do you expect then all of these injuries compounded on each other to affect you for the rest of the year? Like, is it going to get better by the end, or you're just gonna have to grind it out now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let it bother me. Like I said, today was a wash, but I'm going to rest, and if it means no riding for the week, it means no riding. But regardless, next Saturday, I'm going to come out, with everything I got, just like I did tonight. And, everything I had tonight was P16. So that sucks, but, I can say I left it all out on the track. And, I'm going to come back and do the same next weekend. So I think I'll be fine by the end of it, and I still want to get that top 5 and keep moving up. I know it's big goals, but I'd be silly if I came here with no goals. So maybe I bite off a little more than I could chew, but ultimately, like I've said to you before, I want to be a top racer, and the first step to becoming that is putting in those results under the big lights.